Well, good evening. So I thought I'd come on a little bit early to see if we are working. And it's telling me we're connected to YouTube and Facebook, so I hope a few of you are going to join me for it. Yeah, definitely it says connected to YouTube and Facebook, connected to Facebook. So fingers crossed a few of you are going to come along and say hello. Oh, looks like we're on the hoof. Is that better? Yeah. So 3 minutes to go. Oh, Facebook's good. I thought I just heard Martin come through the door because the door's really squeaky. And it obviously wasn't him. Somebody else. And if you could, and YouTube's good too. Hello, Kathy. Facebook's working for you. That's always a good one. It might only be me and you, Kathy. And we can see comments. My goodness. You never know, we might actually get through this one today without any hiccups. And I'm just looking around to make sure I didn't check all of that before I sat down. Hi, Jules. I've just kind of plonked myself down and hit the start button. So, what's everybody been up to? Anything exciting? Don't know. Well, Jules is on YouTube, and Kathy's on Facebook. So, and Martin's telling me we're all good. So we'll take it that we're all good. So, hopefully, a few more people will join before. I was going to clean my glasses before I did this today because I've got fingerprints all over them, but I forgot to do that. That's not a good start, is it? I'm going to be making some funny faces all the way through trying to work out what I'm reading. I hate these glasses. I have to put my head up to look underneath them. Or I just prop them up. It's easier. I could do with something to hold them up for me. But then I can't see further away. Not that I need to today. So what have you two been up to? I'm assuming at the moment it's only yourselves that's here. So it's just going to be the three of us. Which will be lovely. So we're almost at 7 o'clock, and once we hit the 7 o'clock button, I shall see that I washed my hair this evening. Trip to Banbury, and we haven't had fog today, Kathy, but bloomin' heck, wasn't it cold? Hi, Pat. Oh, yeah, we had frost this morning. I had to take my car for new tyres and nearly fell off my chair, and I paid for those as well. But we had a quite hard frost this morning, which was a bit of a shock, considering Sunday it was 18 degrees around here, and today we were -3 when we got in the car. It's mad, isn't it? Hello, Dawn. Yay, we're not on our own now. I should do one of those things like they do on Radio 2. I think it's Vernon Kay does it. Am I first in? Am I first in? And he does the ka-ching, ka-ching. So, Dawn, you're number 4. So, hi, Anne. Right, so we are officially at 7 o'clock. So I am going to take this one off for a moment because it's driving me mad. Those of you that missed it, I forgot to clean my glasses before I came on the air, came on lives, and the glasses are filthy, so I'm going to be doing funny things all the way through. You made a craft bag. Oh, that sounds interesting, Jules. You'll have to message me a picture. I like to see what people are making. Right, so today, well, first of all, thank you all that watched our TV show a couple of weeks. Hi, Carol. Ready for bed. I hope you're nice and cosy and snuggly warm, Sophia. Oh, both Carols. 2 Carols in together. We missed you this weekend, Carol, at the Kent show. So as I was saying, those of you that did watch our TV show on the, where was it, the 19th, thank you very much. You all filled your baskets. We were sold out of everything again. We have restocked them today with some bits. Some of you are still waiting for your orders to come out because you had pre-orders on them for the Dotty Circle and the, what's the other one? Firework Burst. So they are coming. They just not with us yet. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday they will arrive and we will be able to post those all out. They're all in their envelopes, just literally waiting for that bit to be put in and posted. Hi, Elizabeth. So yeah, they are on their way. Don't panic. This is our last Facebook Live before our next TV show because the next TV show crosses over. So we have a new launch for that TV show, but I haven't got anything to show you. So you'll have to see it on the day. We will post some sneak peeks beforehand and they will be available on our website as always. Jules, I see you've just sent me a photo, so I'll have a look at that after the live. Hi Janice. So yeah, it's crazy here at the moment. Really quick turnaround. We did TV on the 19th. We've had shows every weekend this month. And then we have got TV on the 10th of December as well. So it is a really tight turnaround on everything. Lots of you coming in now. Hi Barbara. Hi Gillian. Fingers crossed everything stays good on both. We're on Facebook and YouTube, Gillian. Fingers crossed. Right, so we are going to get to what we're going to make tonight. So let's flip the screen around. My hands are freezing, so I apologise if they're blue. And my nails are dreadful because we did this show last weekend in Kent. And those of you that are in the UK know that we had Storm Bert come through. And it was like right angle rain coming at us while we were breaking down. And the wind caught the rails while I was putting them in the van. And it ripped my fingernails off. As you can see, 3 of my fingernails are 4, my thumb as well, are very, very short. Now, as you'll notice, we've gone to the camera, overhead camera, and it's doing a little bit of freezing, but do you know what? We're just going to work through it and hopefully it will catch us up as per normal. Hello, June. Hope you're okay. So we are going to talk about what we're making today. So we're going to be using our fabulous flower, which was from our last release, and our vintage floral corner, also from our last release. We're just going to use this sentiment from here, so I wanted to show you which one it was. We're going to be using our flourish stencil. Evening Carol, or evening Karen. And then Karen, just quickie, did you receive the parcel? If you can let me know, that would be great. And then we've got the cardstock, 250 and 300 GSM, and the black cardstock, 120 or 270 GSM. Hi Helen, your lovely samples have arrived. Thank you. I just haven't had a chance to post on the group to let you know. Hi Tina. Right, so that's the stamps we're using. Obviously the sticky glue as normal. Hi Linda. And Brenda sneaked in there too. We're using picked raspberry distress oxide. We're using Versafine Onyx black and crystal clear embossing powder. Our medium sized blending brushes. We have got the medium and the large in stock. We are now out of stock of the smaller ones with the little caps that sit over the top, the ones with the handles. We're using the anti-static bag, if I remember to. While I was prepping it, I kept forgetting to use it today, and I was making my life very difficult. We are using a blender pen, which is 999. We're using mid green, which is 46, and pink, which is 027. Jules is one. It's like gold dust to find at the moment. I'm going through all my old stash to find all of my old bits. Let me have a look and see what brand I'm using at the moment. Unfortunately, it's a bit Bockingford watercolour cardstock, which is beautiful, but it's got a slight cream tinge to it. But Bockingford is a really, really, really good brand of watercolour cardstock. All I'm going to suggest is probably Amazon or somewhere like that, because it is so difficult to find. And yes, we are using it today as well. But I just can't get it. My supplier used to do the best watercolour cardstock, and it wasn't expensive, and it was white. But I can't get that at the moment. They stopped getting it. Like everything, cardstock is it's so difficult to get at the moment because it's so heavy to import, and the import paperwork now is horrendous. So a lot of people are not supplying the UK with it, which is why we're in such a difficult situation to get it all. Anyway, I'm going to pop these ones out of the way. The bits I'm not going to be using. The bits I am going to be using, I'm going to move up there, so you'll still see them a little bit. And I'll put these out of the way and try and remember to show you them all again at the end of the show. Right, so what are we making today? Oh, can't pick up the cardstock. Just ripped all my fingernails off. Right, so cardstock required. We're also using the Make Art Station, which I forgot to tell you about. So the cardstock you need is an A5 card. Now mine's an A5 landscape, but you can do it portrait. Whatever you've got will work. Doesn't matter. We've got a piece of black cardstock, which is 5 5/8 by 8. If I did it in centimetres, it would probably be easier for you, but it doesn't make sense to me. Even though I was a centimetre taught baby, so to speak. Our layer for that is 5 3/8 by 7 3/4 inch, which is just our white smooth cardstock. Then we also have a piece which is black, again, 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then our little piece of watercolor cardstock, which is 6 by 4. You can see in this picture the difference in the colors. So we've got the watercolor cardstock has got a cream tinge, and we've got the white. I'm going to show you a little trick which will not completely disguise it, but it will help it to blend a little bit. Evening, Tina. So that's everything you need. I'm going to pop these to one side. I'm going to take my anti-static bag and wipe it all over. And you will see I have coloured most of this. I've coloured one in earlier so that you didn't have to watch me colouring the whole thing in. But that has got, I'm going to point out the little error where I didn't anti-static my cardstock before I did the embossing powder. And that's my bad. Right, this is the trick I tell you about all the time, and I didn't do it. And I'm just going to wait for the camera to catch me back up. Bear with us. So, see my anti-static bag? It's on top of my ink pad. I had moved it purely because anti-static bags are designed for the powder to come out. And as you can see in my ink, well, we had lots of powder in there. So I was trying to get rid of that, and I didn't put it back on the top, which is why I forgot to do it. So anti-static all over your card. Then with our Versafine Onyx Black, ink your stamp up lots and lots and lots of little light taps. Because it's a big stamp, I always take my ink to my stamp, not my stamp to my ink. If you watched our TV show, you will see that on a few of my smaller ones, I take my stamp to my ink. I've just noticed there is a really long piece of fluff or Maisie hair on my stamp, and that is not going to make for pretty stamping. So we shall get rid of our Maisie hair, which was white and is now black, before I carry on. Hi, Mum. Right, just put this all out right. So we've inked our stamp up onto our watercolour cardstock. It's a big stamp, so make sure you give yourself enough ink on there to stamp your image out, and make sure you give it time to soak into that cardstock. Right, fingers crossed. There we go. Could have done with being a little bit heavier in some parts, but we'll get the idea. So I'll get my trusted piece of card, my beautiful piece that I have here, and I'm going to sprinkle the crystal clear embossing powder all over and give that a light tap. Hi Kirsty, all good here, I hope you're well. Right, I'll put the lid back on there. I have also, I'm not going to stamp it out tonight, but I've already done it, and again I did that in, oh, went up too quick, went out of focus. There we go. Now I went back up it. I'm just going to leave it down so it focuses. So it's your special day from our vintage sentiment stamp set. It's gone completely out of focus now. Oh, and now I'm dropping it. There we go. It's your special day. So I've already stamped that. I've embossed it with the crystal clear like you just saw me, and I went all around the edge of it again because I've done it onto the watercolour card so it all kind of matches. I've gone around the edge with some pink ink as well. So we're just going to heat this up. Again, I'm going to heat from underneath. And it's watercolour cardstock. It's much heavier weight than our normal 250 or 300 GSM cardstock. So it's going to take a couple of seconds for it to heat through. Once you've heated it, or once it starts to heat and starts to melt, it will all go quite quickly. It just takes a little while to get going through there. Oh, how nice. Enjoy yourself, Elizabeth. We'll miss you. So we're literally just heating that from underneath. It does take a little bit of practice, so don't panic if you're not particularly confident doing it from underneath. And it does get very warm under there, so mind your fingers. And I think I've got everywhere. Yeah, just a little bit there, there we go. So, the reason I do it from underneath is because with the Versamark ink, it's not particularly embossing powder friendly. Oh, you've been playing all day, have you, Dawn? How nice. So it's not particularly embossing powder friendly. So by putting the heat from underneath, it puts a barrier between you and the embossing powder. The reason I'm going to say that, and I'll show you afterwards, is particularly if you're colouring, it's a real help, because sometimes this embossing powder can jump around, and although it's clear, it doesn't really matter. If you're colouring over the top of it, wherever that embossing powder is, the colour is not going to stick. So be wary of that. That's the main reason why I work from underneath. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a shuffle. My watercolour cardstock is, does it say on my packaging what it is? 350 or 300 GSM or £140, if that makes sense to you in other ways. Yeah, so it is fairly thick stuff. Single rows, we don't have the single rows anymore. I'm not sure if I have got any videos on that, but what I'm going to do with this might help you with that. So I've said before, when you heat an image up, your card goes out of shape a little bit. You've seen me fiddling about with it. It's just stress on the cardstock. We're going to let that calm down, and that's partly why I've done one earlier. If you look, I'm going to hold it because we'll put that down. Hang on a minute, I'm just going to let the video catch us up. Oh, see, I played about quite a lot today. I'm going to show you some of the bits I played about with and decided I wasn't going to do those on Facebook. So that was one of the bits I tried to do earlier. See, it's slacking on me again. Bear with us, people. So because I printed this out earlier, it's almost completely relaxed. So it's almost completely straight. See, that was one of the ideas I was going to do earlier, and I didn't like the colour choice. Then I completely changed what we were doing anyway. So I'm going to go in and do a little bit of colouring. Now, if I zoom in a little bit, let's see whether it works. Whoa! Wow, that's close, isn't it? Hopefully you'll be able to see me colour this. So, wow, why didn't I do this before? So I'm going to go, just literally, I'm scribbling over the top of those embossed lines. Then I've got my blender pen, and in circular motions, I'm going to pull that colour down. And I tend to try and go petal at a time. But if you want to go for more than that at a time, you can. There's nothing that says you can't. All I need to remind you to do is that you do need to blot this. And the other thing is, obviously, every time I use the blender pen, I am loading the colour onto the nib. Sorry. It loads some of that colour onto this nib. So I'm going to try and show you how we get rid of that. So each time I do it, I clean the nib, because, and I tend to move my cardstock around quite a lot. I'm going to try and make sure I keep it in vision. I'll show you what I mean. And this is just my test one, because as you've all seen a sneak peek, I have already done one today. If I went straight off there with this nib as it is, every time I did it, it would load a little bit more ink on there. Now it's fine to go into those smaller little pieces like you've just seen me do, but literally all I do is take my piece of kitchen paper and do that till it comes through clear again. And now we're back to having a completely white clear nib. Trying to get you in camera there. Oh, going the wrong way. There we go. So completely clear nib. So I just chop and change all the way through. To get it realistic, Kirsty, you've kind of got to think, right, this is where my shadow is, or where my light source is coming from, and try and stick with making your darkest shade where that is. Now in my head, a flower is always slightly darker on the inside, because there is a shadow that's taking that inside. Because flowers aren't normally completely open. So I tend to always do my petals slightly darker on the bottom and pull out. Now there's a couple of things I want to tell you about with these pens as well, and as we're in as close as we are, and I've already prepped this ahead. Going to take a big petal here. I'm going to do these 2 petals here, and I'm going to show you a couple of different things. So with this big one, if I lay some colour down here, I turn the petal around and I take the colour. Hang on a minute, I'm going to wait for you to catch me up. Turn the petal around. Are we back with me? Yep, we're back with me. So if I push the colour up this way, as I said, this is just my piece to just show you a few things on it. The colour stays much, much stronger than if, again, I'm just cleaning that brush off. So you can see how the colour stays stronger further up. Oh, I moved it, sorry. Than it does say here. It goes much lighter out to the edge here. Now, if I do the colour on this one down here, spin it round and pull the colour away, I probably put a bit too much on there, it does fade out quicker. Probably been a bit heavy-handed on that colour at the bottom there. So it fades out quicker. So we've got a stronger top line up here than we have here. So this is much stronger here than here. So it's entirely up to you which way round you like it. You can have a mix if you want. So you put a little bit of colour down on the bottom and you pull it up. Or you put a little bit of colour down on the bottom and you take it away. So you're pushing that colour up. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Now, for me, this is the underside of the petal. So I'm going to make that slightly darker. Alright, so hopefully that's all made huge amounts of sense to you. You never know. Hi Ruth. I'm glad they've arrived today, Ruth, and I'm glad you said that because it reminds me that I'm going to actually move the cards now. I want to show you a couple of things about the cards, and I thought if I did it on the Facebook Live, people that are watching Facebook Live will be able to, or are getting stuck, I can point them to it. So there's a couple of things I need to remind you about. So hopefully by doing what I've just done, I'll remember to do that. So that's all the colouring done. I'm going to pull this out a little bit now because I think we're a little close in to doing more work on it. Bear with me, hopefully it's going to stretch out again in a moment. Whoa, that went out fast. It nearly went out as fast as it went in. Oh, I think I've gone too far now. Patience, Amanda. Hang on a minute, everybody. I'm trying to get us back into focus and we're too far away now, I think. Okay, we'll stick with that. Anyway, I'm going to put that to one side. Make Art Station. My trusty Make Art Station. Now they are out of stock, I think, on our website, but our suppliers have just informed us they've gotten back in stock today. So if anybody wants one, message me and we can order them in for you. Right, so we're going to use the Flourish stencil today. I'm not using the whole of the Flourish stencil, I'm just using parts of it. So, let me think where I was here. Yeah, there we go. So I want it to be so that it looks like the flourish is coming onto the stencil. So here and here are two straight lines. So I want them to kind of just be off the page. That's my only precious bit about it. I want those two little bits to be just off the page. I'm going to take some kitchen paper just to... Now, a lot of this is going to be hidden underneath your header, or underneath your top hat, so you don't need to be too precious about this, but I'm just going to give myself a little bit of a protection here. What's causing that dust? Right. So I don't want ink. I'm not using all of this section. I'm just using the corners up here. So I'm just going to pop this on here. Did that move? Yes, it did. Okay. As I say, a lot of this is going to be hidden underneath. You're not going to see it. So don't be too precious about it. So I'm using picked raspberry. And I'm going to just load my brush and be gentle with this. You've got a few sticky outy bits that you don't want to lift up too much. Don't put too much pressure on. And as I said, don't have to be particularly careful about it because you're just going to see sections of this, a section of this. It's just so that it's not going onto a plain white background. And that's the beauty of having this type of a flourish, because you can just use sections of it. You don't have to use the whole thing. Just going to have a quick nosy to see what it looks like underneath. Yep, that will do perfectly. And then we're going to take this one, spin it round, and do the same on the other corner. So the two diagonal corners will have stenciling on them. Again, just because I don't want to be going on this all year, we'll just mask off sections of that. Again, I've gone a bit too far over on that masking. I want to have a little bit more of that there, just in case. Right. Normally I'd tuck that underneath, but today it wasn't worth fighting with it because we are kind of just blocking that whole section off. If you tuck it underneath, you don't do what I just did and lift it up out of the way. So if you're being precise about it, lift it off. But if you're not being precise like I'm not, don't worry about it. Because you're not going to see all of it. There we go. And that's what we're using our stencil for. So, I have also taken the ink that was left on the stencil, just popped it on there, and just with whatever's left on the brush and whatever's left on the stencil, just rub that onto there. Again, doesn't need to be precise, it's just giving it a nod to what you're doing on the outside. Right, so my little tip, as I mentioned earlier, the cream on the white stands out that they're different. So again, I'm going to take my blending brush and my ink, and very lightly I'm going to go all the way around the edge of both pieces. By doing that, it blends it takes the starkness away from the bright white on your eyes and allows it to look a little softer, and it allows if you do the same on your flower, obviously do it on the one that I finished. When you put the two together, it's not so obvious that there is a colour difference on the cardstock. And as I say, and I say this all the time at my workshops, if somebody points out that your cardstock's a different colour, don't send them a handmade card next year. So you're just going to go around, and that kind of, once you put your matting and layering on there, it kind of hides the fact that there's a white and a cream. There is nothing we can do about that at the moment. Majority of good watercolour cardstock, and if anybody else has got any ideas of some good watercolour cardstock, please feel free to let me know. A lot of them are slightly more winter white, creamy coloured, so just be aware of that. But that will give you a little tip or trick to get round it a little bit. It won't get round it completely, but it will get round it a little bit. So let's go to putting these cards together. It's a really quick, easy card to do. I mean, what have we been going? Oh, half an hour already. I didn't realise we'd been going quite as long as that. Where did that half an hour go? Hey, bear with me. Didn't clean my glue out before I came on here. I'm going to glue the first layer on. Got a roughly 1/8 of an inch all the way around the edge. That was completely wrong. Try again, shall we? Too bad. So we'll stick this first layer on our backing sheet. So it was just a piece of plain white cardstock. You've now colour coordinated it in with whatever you're making, and your white cardstock becomes a pattern piece of paper, which is always nice. I will get rid of that little bit of glue that I just managed to spill on the table, which you probably can't see, but I know I'm going to spread a long way. And then this is the one I did earlier. Now, if you watch this from the start, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, just pop back and have a look. When I heat emboss this, I'm trying to come in really close to the camera. Can you see in here? And it is only a small piece, but it's something that I'm aware of. There are some little white dots, and that, or cream dots, and that is because I heat embossed it without anti-staticking it, and my embossing powder stuck to a small section. So I can't colour over that, so it will stay looking like that. So that's what happens if you look. See, look, I never waste anything. Didn't like what I did. Didn't like the colours I did. And I'm not going to hide from you that I did it. I was trying a few different techniques this week, but came back to one I like. So we've matted and layered that. So as you can see, coloured that one all in earlier. The green I used, when I did the green again, I'll just quickly come back here and show you on this one. I layered the green on the inside all the way along the petal, and then coloured out from there. So the left-hand side, I don't know if it's showing up as the left-hand side on yours. The left-hand side is slightly darker on the petal, or sorry, on the leaf. And again, don't forget to blot. Particularly if you're using the pinks, the reds, they go a long way. So you'll get a petal like so. Anyway, so here's the one I did earlier. This is what I mean by the fact that you're not going to see much of what you've done underneath. You're just going to get a nod to it. So it doesn't matter if it's not beautifully perfect. If you want to be really picky, here's one I did earlier that you've got none of the extra bits up the top there. But I think I prefer the colour I have used here. So we will go with this one. See, you could have masked that one off. You could have masked here off. You're not going to see much of it, but that is entirely up to you how picky you want to be about masking it. Now I am going to stick mine down. So the fact that I did mine about 3 o'clock this afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I've left it to sit means that it's almost completely flat now. So it sticks down much, much easier. So if this is a technique you like, then you can go in and just stamp yourself out a whole load of these flowers, heat emboss them and just leave them to one side. So then I have got my sentiment that I have also done the same thing. I did it onto watercolour cardstock because it's going to be close to my actual image, and I've gone round the edge with the pink again so it all ties in. I have got a foam pad on the bottom here, but I do always put a little bit of sticky glue on there because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to position this where I want it to be. I'm going to go about there, I think. Now I think with this card, if you had left that flat, not raised it, I think I'm right in saying it would fit through as a standard letter, a standard large letter. So bear that in mind when you're making your cards up. So there we have it. Kirsty, I hope that helped you with your colouring. A few little tips on that one. Let me know if you have any problems, just ping me an email and we will try and talk you through a few other bits and pieces. Now, apologies ladies, I'm going to completely divert for a moment, but you're going to get a sneak peek anyway. We had a few ladies that didn't make it to our workshop because they were poorly, but they booked in, so they all received their kits, and I just want to go through a couple of things with them. So I thought, well, why not do it now on Facebook Live, and everybody else can see what's made at the workshops as well. So this is the biggest card that we made. I might even have to zoom out to get all of this in. Let's have a look. Oh, Di, hello. Thank you, ladies. So this was the biggest card we made. Did I go the wrong way? Yes, I wanted to go the other way. Bear with me. Right. So it's, again, it was an A5 landscape. And it opens up like so, and then it opens up again. Now, I have emailed all of our all our workshop ladies the instructions that couldn't come, but a couple of things I need to tell you about. When you do the scoring, that is where you need to, on this particular card, I told you to do some scoring. That is where you put your stenciling. And when you position these little flaps down, hold these bits up in the air so it sits like so. Does that show up? Hopefully that makes sense to you. And then your sides will fold back in and your card will fold flat. So that's one of the things I needed to tell you about. So Ruth, if you're there, let me know if that makes sense. Also, these pieces in here are shorter, so that if for some reason you stuck this down wrong and it didn't rip here, and you need to remove it, you don't want to rip this piece of cardstock as well, because if you rip that as well, then you've got to redo those as well. Carol, it's not complicated. It really wasn't complicated. It's just that little bit I needed to explain to the ladies that didn't come to the workshop. Okay. The other ones we did, I'm just again want to show the ladies the work from the workshop what it was, so that they can actually physically see the card as a whole. So this is the section, it will make sense to them that you cut the triangles on, and it's only one of the 2 pieces of black and white that you've got that you do that to, and obviously your card base. So just so that those workshop ladies, I keep calling them Facebook ladies, workshop ladies can see that's how that works. And then last but not least, the Christmas one that we made. Right, so this was the Christmas card we made. It has a secret lock on it. So if I just pop this out of the way for a second. So your scoring, if I can come in and it will pick it up. Hopefully you can see down here. Trying to get the camera angle so that you can see the score lines. It's only this section that we've scored. Ruth, let me know that you're watching and seeing this so it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, then the other ladies I can put in that direction. And we scored every 1/4 of an inch along here and on the panels on the inside as well. Now the secret lock piece, which again you've got all the instructions for, but it fits on like this. So your card is like so. Your secret lock is in here. And this slides down across the top. And it holds your card in place. Like so. I'm glad you can see it. Ruth seems to have disappeared, so I will ping everybody an email that has got their kits in the post to show them that. So they were the 3 cards that we made in the group, in the workshops. So anybody that was thinking about doing workshops, they're the some of the things that we make. We do something different every time, obviously. So now you've got me again, and now I can't find what I've done with my finished card. There we go. I'll put those out of the way. So this was our finished card. Wrong way. Remember, we've done that a little bit on the inside as well, just to show you, just to take that all the way through. And obviously you can pop a sentiment in there too, but it's a really simple card to make, but really I think it's really effective. The black really does make it pop. Someone, yeah, Brenda just said exactly that. Doing it with the black and the colour really does make it pop out, but that's entirely up to your choice. If you want to do it with grey, it would also look really nice. A couple of things, I'm going to flip you back round for 2 seconds because I wanted to show you another thing I was playing with. So this was one of the ones that I looked at doing for our Facebook Live today, but somehow the proportions were off. You do that, Ruth. I'm glad you managed to get back to see some of it. So I thought the proportions were off. The flower was too small against that big flourish on there. So it's entirely up to you, but just so you know, I coloured this with red and yellow, and I did this with carved pumpkin. So although I like the colour, I'm like, oh, and just let me show you up close if you can see I didn't do it all the way around all of it, but I went round with a black pen on the inside on sections of it as well, just to make it stand out a little bit more, but it still didn't quite work for me. If you like it, that's absolutely your choice, but it wasn't working for me today. And I think it was the colour choice for me today. I think you have days where certain colours are better for you than others. So I'm going to quickly pop back to, if I can do it without dropping, what we have used tonight, without dropping everything everywhere. So let me just put that out of the way and then it won't smudge onto anything. So we used the small blending brush, we've used picked raspberry, the sticky glue, crystal clear embossing powder. We've used the, no, that's not the one I need, Versafine Onyx Black. We have used the anti-static bag. You now know why to use your anti-static bag. The sentiment came from Vintage Floral Corner from our last release. And then we used our fabulous flower, which is just a fabulous flower. I love playing with that one. We have used our Flourish stencil, our white cardstock, and our black cardstock, which comes in the 2 different weights. And then the pens I've used are pink 025, mid green 046, and the blender pen, which is 999. Oh, sad you missed us, Susan, but I'm sure you can watch back. Yeah, so, and that made our finished card. And Susan did our workshop and did manage to come and wasn't poorly. So she'll know that wasn't that difficult to make, was it, Susan? Just another quick reminder on the stencils from our last release, although we have got new stencils coming in. We have got our leaf stencil, or leaves stencil. We've got our dotty circle stencil, and we have got our firework burst stencil, all of which are pre-ordered for the 2nd of December, so they'll be going out for you all next week. So don't panic if you haven't received it yet. So yeah, I think that's all of my waffling. I've got a couple of little dates to remind you of, and that's me done. So what do I need to tell you about? Our next Facebook Live will be on December the 12th, 7 p.m, Thursday, December the 12th, all being good. We have TV on the 10th of December, which is a brand new release of 5 new stamps and 4 new stencils, and that's at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. That will probably be the first time you'll see them as a whole collection. They will be available on our website a couple of days before, probably. We try and get them on a little bit earlier. And then our last physical show of the year is the Excalibur Papercraft Show this coming Saturday at the Motorcycle Museum, Cambridge, where did that come from? Coventry, Birmingham area. It's across the roundabout from the NEC. If you can get any chance for me to get, there's a chance for me to get the bell right, yeah. Of course there is, Dawn. Just play. Play on scrap pieces first until you're happy, and then just go for it. And you know, if it goes wrong, it's a piece of paper. So yeah, that is me done, I think. My goodness, in under an hour tonight. Check me out, Amanda. Hope you've all enjoyed it. As I say, we will see you on the 12th of December for our next Facebook Live. Our new release will be launched on Hobby Maker TV on the 10th of December at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. So hopefully some of you can catch us on that. If not, have a lovely week. Stay warm. Fingers crossed it's not like this on Saturday morning when we're getting up at 2:30 in the morning to go to work. Think of us, ladies and gents.